We are going live.
Turn the music off.
Yeah, we're gonna get thrown off the internet because I'm blasting out Soul Asylum in the background. Right.
Good morning, everybody. It's
Good
7:30 in the morning here.
Vietnam. Oh no, we're not in Vietnam, are we?
No,
We might as well be.
We're in Slovakia. It's a
Beirut,
beautiful, cloudy
perhaps.
day. It looks like it's going to be peeing from the sky all day.
Oh, that's disgusting. What a disgusting image you've brought into the conversation already.
That's because.
Oh my God.
You always use the other word that is more rude, and I wanted to make it a little bit
I
less
always,
rude.
you always use another word that's always more rude. That's ridiculous. I have to check that the streams are streaming.
Yes,
So I'm going to go and
check it.
and see if Facebook is streaming.
So as I said, it's 7:30 here, and it's pretty early. Everybody else is sleeping. I think that the whole town is still sleeping because it's obviously Sunday.
Obviously.
We're not.
It's obviously only where we are.
It's obviously Sunday.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. There we go. That's us.
we can hear ourselves.
That's us on Facebook. Now I have to find us on YouTube.
Yes, please do.
And
Everybody, find us on YouTube.
Find
it's a
us.
very good idea. Just
Click.
follow G's example.
Click. That's it. Done.
Mhm.
Oh, but I didn't hear your voice on YouTube.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be there.
Okay,
you
I'm
always have to check everything. Check it then.
I just have to check everything. Check everything and double check
I just did a
everything.
little conversation with you without you even talking.
With-
Because I can hear
One-
you in my head.
Okay,
See?
that was it. Right. Okay. The mobile streams have been checked and controlled. The mobile can go over there.
And now we can talk about something interesting, right?
Like accents, like how everyone is still asleep. How from this vantage point we can see the misty hills. We can see the clouds resting lazily in the valleys. We can see.
It's already clouds. It's just one big cloud everywhere.
You can see people who are poor from this window.
Can you?
Yeah, because you look at
mean?
that block of flats across there.
Yeah.
What you can see is that
The
there's
white
one. There's one set of windows that are the original wooden ones that haven't been changed for plastic ones, and they're rotting away.
Oh, that.
Not only that, they've
Is
got
that
those.
block of flats though? So are those flats?
No, it's an elephant. What do you think it is? The block of flats looks like flats.
Yeah, you're right. Because there's the other building as well that looks like it has offices in it.
What, the office building?
Yeah.
There is a difference, right? There is a difference. You know, one of them has like a office building written on the front of it, and the other one has people with dogs sitting out in front of it.
There's the other block of flats over there, the white one that has the ethnic minority in it.
The gypsies.
You're not allowed to say that because it's racist.
I don't fucking care. I will say what I want to say. I mean, they call themselves gypsies, right?
Yes, they do.
I mean, that's like saying it's racist to call me Scottish. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, is gypsy even a race? I mean, it's not even a race, is it? I mean, it's just a term for people who travel.
What is a race?
It's when people compete against each other.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah,
especially in the
gypsy's
Olympics, where they
definitely
run in
not a race,
circles and they get medals for going nowhere.
Yeah.
I've never really understood that.
Yeah. Because
So-
they go nowhere really fast.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you go as long as you go there.
Really fast.
I've been doing that for about 20 years. What are you talking about? Right.
There's a certain art in it, you know.
And
I mean, most people.
there's a certain lack of art in it. I think that's what you
Most
want
people
to
try
say.
to go somewhere, but getting nowhere really fast. That's
Most
worth
people,
a medal.
most people don't know where they're going. They're only going where all the other people go because all the other people are going there. They've got no idea.
I think there's quite a lot of people trying to get somewhere.
There was this British rock band called the Wild Hearts back in the day, and they had a song back in the day.
700 years ago.
Yeah. the early rock and roll era, and
When the dinosaurs were on the earth.
something like that. But this is way back in the day, right? When you seriously, this was way back in the day when you couldn't get the music, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to order the music by post because you couldn't buy it in shops.
Oh my god! And it arrived in a coach pulled by 3 horses.
Yeah, after 6 months. Yeah.
It was a band of people.
I had to order the band because there was no such thing as CDs. No, I ordered the CD. CDs were new at the time, and it took like 2 to 3 weeks to come by post, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a terrifyingly great period of time to wait for anything, and especially as it now takes like 30 seconds to download something from the interweb of webs.
Yeah, and you're like, the internet connection is so slow. It told me that I'm gonna have to wait for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know. But it's insane in the modern world. Anyway, the point I want to make is that they had a song called "I Want to Go Where the People Go," and the chorus was just "I want to go where the people."
Go where the people go. Did it go like that?
That would have been better, actually. That was all very downtown. Everyone wants to go.
It's from the Little Mermaid.
Oh, you didn't just make it up? Oh, I thought you just made it up. Well, that's not cool at all, then. So the chorus was just, I want to go where the people go, take me there, anywhere, just as long as there's an atmosphere, I don't care. So I remember those words.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, people just want to go where the crowds go. They want to. Are you showing the bike on the cup picture to the people on the internet?
I have a bike.
On a cup.
This is my best bike.
A bike on a cup.
This is my bicycle on the mug.
Bikes are just.
Ja, natürlich.
Bikes are just. People here love their bikes.
Mhm.
They really do.
You have to love your bike. It takes you places.
Henry Miller loved his bike.
Sorry.
So, Henry Miller was an author, you know, Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer,
Yes.
Black Spring,
Yes.
Sexus Nexus Plexus.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I told you, right? He wrote a book called the Book of Friends, and his
Yes.
best friend was his bicycle.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, I forgot about that.
I told you that story.
I imagine it
Right.
wasn't on a mug.
No, it wasn't. But if you had like a picture of Henry Miller on a mug,
On a bicycle.
that would be insanely cool, because nobody knows who Henry Miller was really. Well, there's a small group of people who read. They live under a tree over there somewhere, and
And they read. I heard about them.
they
They're
read.
a legend. There are
Oh.
reading people out there somewhere.
Yeah, but they're really weird. Some of them are even locked up. So apparently prison is a really good place to read because there's nothing else happening.
Oh my god, if I went to prison, I would just read all day.
Freedom! Oh no, I'm not supposed to do that, am I? Right.
Are you being separatist?
Being
Or
separated.
anarchist
Being separated.
from reality?
Yeah. Anyway, if you see that gypsy block of flats over
Yeah.
there that no one can see that we're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
It's right next to the supermarket. There's always a lot of them in the supermarket.
And there's always a lot of them sitting on the ground outside the supermarket drinking from their vodka bottles. Well,
It's not always vodka.
it's not always vodka, she said. Yes, you're right. It's not always
So
vodka.
don't generalize, okay?
Yes, today's podcast, welcome to Practical Parenting. Today's podcast will be entitled It's Not Always Vodka. Right.
It's coffee
There we-
sometimes. Here you go.
Yeah. Can you drink coffee without playing with the microphone?
No, because I would have to pour it over the microphone to
Do you
get
want,
it
do
in
you want
my
me
mouth.
to teach you how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, have you not been watching?
You.
Yeah,
drinking.
have you not been watching me?
No, I have not been watching you while you were
Watch
drinking. I was
this.
usually talking.
Watch this. This is for
into the
people. This is
people's
for people
heads.
watching the video, right?
Mhm.
Here's the morning orange juice. Okay.
Ah, you have to pull the ear from the ear.
And then you don't touch any of the mic parts. You see?
Comme ça?
Comme ça? How was that? How was that?
That was genius.
Right. Do you like the way that?
He's a genius.
Do you
when
like-
it
do you
comes
like-
to-
Do you like what I did with the mic as well? The mic cables.
Yes, yes.
I taped them up the back.
He did
so
things that you cannot see because they're at the back, but they improved the whole situation
apparently,
massively.
allegedly, supposedly.
massively. because the mics don't keep slipping down, and we don't have to fiddle with them too much.
We don't have to move our heads like nodding
to fiddle with
dogs.
something else.
Right, there you go. So that was a bad move by me, obviously. Anyway, what I want to say is that you know how people like make fun of the gypsies, and you know
No, I don't know anybody who does that.
No, no. Well, they should, because they're a disgrace to society. But most of them, except the musicians. The musicians do really well. But most of the other ones are. Look, here's the example. If you look at that block of flats over there, yeah, they have electric cables going from balcony to balcony.
Yeah.
Right? Number one, obviously some people have not paid their bills. Number two, obviously people are not going to pay the bills. Number three, if the electricity gets cut off, they will riot.
Fire hazard.
Yeah. It's
fire hazard.
in winter, yeah. In winter the whole thing could burn to the ground, which would be a terrible loss of life. And they don't seem to be very worried about that at all.
No, they don't. They're not worried about
not only
these
that,
things.
it lowers the value of the area. I mean, think about who would actually want. First of all, no sane, sensible person wants to live in that block of flats.
Yeah.
Secondly, you don't want to live in a block of flats that has a view of that block of flats.
Yeah.
Right. Thirdly, everybody knows that when one gypsy family gets in somewhere, they bring more.
Usually. It wasn't like that in Rastoka, for example. In Rastoka, we had that one family that was okay. You know, they were kind of contributing to the society.
Yes, but don't you think that over time that would cause
well, no, because all of their family was down in Niemiecka, right?
All their family was in the next village.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when the people in the next village get sick of living in the next village because they've made such a mess of everything, they'll move to another village.
Well, no, because they only move to where they can get a house, where they can get a place to live in, right? And they don't go around buying
they can live anywhere.
Places,
people with money,
right?
People with money can live anywhere, though, right?
But they're not people with money.
Yes, but they can. It only takes like one or two of them to have a job, right? And then they can borrow money from a bank and then pay it back over time, and they can buy a property. And I'm not saying that overall this is a bad thing, but you know, that's the way that it works. Yes, in general they only get where they don't have to pay for things, and I think the reason why they got to Niemiecka was housing exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how they got there.
Yeah.
But you see, there's a way.
On the other hand,
there's always a way for them.
I always admired that to a certain extent. That the family bonds.
If Tatiana's online, we're going to say hello to Tatiana.
Hi.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Go back to bed. Right.
Yes.
That's where you should be.
Yes. Or go work. Go work.
Go work.
Go work. That's always a good thing to do, right?
Can you put two verbs like that together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go work.
If I can tell you to go flip yourself, then I can tell somebody to go work.
Like a pancake.
Yes.
Right. Excellent. Excellent
Yes.
idea. So what else is on the radar? I made a newsletter yesterday.
No.
Yes.
Again.
No. Yes.
Just like every day. Oh no, the news newsletter. I see. G here.
You're making fun of my daily newsletter.
No, I'm not. I
just
realized that you were not talking about the daily newsletter. That you were talking about a special newsletter that comes with this
podcast, netcast,
thing,
livecast,
live video,
online presentation, life-saving skills,
yes,
stuff.
So yes, I got it in my mailbox. Did I? I did.
You got it in your mailbox. I meant to send it to myself as well, but I forgot. So I had to ask you to send it to me.
Yes. Anyway, it's really super useful because there are articles that we talk about in the podcast that you may find interesting.
Yeah, but the trouble is, it's the first version, so it's not perfect. Anyway, but there's also summaries of what we talk about in the sessions, and what else? There's useful links, and it's a way of keeping up to date.
So I'll tell you what, if you would like to have something like that,
I'll tell you what.
In your mailbox,
I'll
like
put it
once
in
a week or so.
I'll put it in the Facebook links, and then I'll
Yes.
add it to the YouTube description.
Yes.
So that people can sign up to that instead of signing up to my email, which just frustrates people.
You will put a link to subscribe to this newsletter in the comments of this video, will you?
You will you? Use of persuasive language.
Highly suggestive.
Yes, persuasive language. Right.
Yes.
You would. It would have been even more persuasive if you had said, "You will, won't you?" Because that would have caused natural
Maybe I should just hypnotize you like that lady in the movie yesterday. You will put it under the video.
We finished Hamish and Macbeth, and it was all very surreal and bizarre, and I can see why they had to finish the whole series, because they killed off the best character.
Yes. But I was thinking about it this morning when I woke up, because I tend to think when I get up. And sometimes.
I'm not going to remind you of that the next time you're stumbling around the flat half awake.
You don't stumble, you stumble. I'm super alert from the first
What do you do? Skip around the flat like a dainty dancer?
No, I just think, that's all. Anyway, I was thinking about it, and I was like, why would they do something as surreal as they did in the last 2 episodes, right? And then I realized that it was all a symbolic thing. It was all a symbolism. It was all to symbolize that these old blokes and these old people in the little Scottish villages are what holds up the Scottish tradition, right? It wasn't about the stone, really. It was about the fact that these little Scottish rural communities are the things that protect and guard and hold the Scottish tradition.
You didn't get that from the fact that the last 2 episodes were all about the Stone of Destiny.
It's destiny, sorry, I said wisdom. The Sorcerer's Stone.
Too much.
The Stone of Destiny.
Too much Harry Potter.
Yes. I understood that the Stone of Destiny was supposed to be a symbolic symbol.
Do you know that the Stone of Destiny was actually stolen?
Was it?
You didn't know that?
Was it actually moved to Scotland as well?
Well, they don't know because it was stolen.
Continue, please.
Well, obviously I don't know all the details because I didn't steal it, right? So, it won't. That a stone in your pocket, or?
I'm trying to drink here. She didn't steal it, so what happened to it?
Well, there's the official story, which I don't believe, which is that a group of students removed the stone from its resting place, because the stone was under the throne seat of the
in the Westminster Abbey.
I think so. I'm not exactly sure where it was. Anyway, it was under the big throne where the Queen sat, because it was moved from Scotland to England because King James the First of Scotland became King James the Sixth, I believe, sixth of. Oh no, that's backwards.
I thought it was fifth.
That's backwards. I just gave it backwards. That's wrong. King James the Sixth of Scotland became King James the First of England because the numbers work the other way around, right? Because he was the sixth Scottish James, but the first English James.
Bond.
And when because he inherited the English throne, and this is kind of a lost piece of history that the King of Scotland became the King of Britain at that point in time.
Yes,
and
it's
we're
not
talking
really lost. I mean,
1700. Now, following that, you had the Act of Union between Scotland and England. You had the creation of the British flag. You had, and you then had all the rebellions. 1715 rebellion, Scotland, the Scottish War against England. 1745 rebellion, Scottish War against England, which was the last one. Where it's interesting because it's romanticized in history, where it's Bonnie Prince Charlie and the Scottish Jacobites rebelled against the evil English king. But when you realise that Bonnie Prince Charlie was a Jacobite Stuart, and the Stuarts were Catholic, and they were rebelling against the Protestant system, then then it takes on a whole different picture. Then it's Catholics trying to remove Protestants from power.
Yes.
In Britain, rather than
that was like an ongoing theme in British history, wasn't it? It's
It
like
was.
Catholics, Protestants. What? Did it all?
I asked my Irish friend about the Northern Ireland troubles, and he said something very pertinent. Excuse me while I work on altering the contrast as it's getting brighter this morning. There we go.
I'm sorry for
so-
yawning. It's still 7 something.
So I asked it because when you grow up not in the area of fighting,
Yeah.
you begin to wonder why people are fighting.
Yes.
You begin to wonder what's this.
Yes.
And it's very similar to kind of the West Side Story, Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, where you've got two sides fighting for reasons that they can't even remember. And my friend described it as cats and dogs. Yeah, I said, like what is this Catholic Protestant, war going on? What is this? And he said it's just cats and dogs. They cannot live together, and they never will. And so it's pointless
That's not
even
true. You've
trying.
got Protestants here. I mean, yes, Catholics are a vast majority, but I knew quite a lot of Protestants in Slovakia, and nobody was killing anyone.
Well, the Protestants were essentially peaceful, though. I mean, they were the people who broke away from the Catholic Church in a peaceful sense.
Yes.
Yeah, and
They're the more tolerant ones, right?
in general, yes, but then I'm biased because I was brought up in a sort of Scottish Presbyterian, minimalist religion kind of environment. So when I see these big churches, full of giant altars and stained glass windows, and when I see people giving their money to the church, it kind of goes against the way I was brought up, which was the church meeting was in a community hall. There was nothing extra. No one was really expected to look their best. People just went to church as they were, and it was very much a part of everyday life.
You didn't have a church dress.
I didn't wear any dresses, as far as I can remember. And so, the pomp and circumstance and ceremony of a lot of the church has always been very alien to me. And although I respect it, I just don't. I just don't connect with it. It's like certain styles of music. I respect them. I just don't connect with them. Like certain types of car. Some people like this car. Some people like that car.
Well, I went to
just don't
Catholic
connect with them.
churches, the classic Catholic churches, right? Which is all ceremony, which is all. Well, most of it is just reciting or singing scripted things, right? Which I never really script. Seriously.
Life.
It's just
There are people who
saying
do.
script.
There are people who
right?
do like netcasts like this, and
Uh-huh.
they're scripted. And that's what I was saying. What I didn't like before about the other online forums is that they're so scripted. You kind of know where the end is going to be when you start a lot of the time. So it's nice to have direction, but have it in the unscripted sense.
Yes, I understand the value of tradition, right? In a religion or in anything really. So.
So
That's tradition is cool, but to a certain extent it almost looks like mind control, right? When you've got vast masses of people sitting in one place reciting one thing all together.
Vast masses.
Like,
that's an interesting phrase.
Like, you've got a full church and they just recite something together. So I never really got that. because it never felt heartfelt.
It's not when you're reading from a
You know?
when you're reading from a script. It's really hard to be all emotional. I mean, actors will tell you that. You know, that's the big
When I
problem
was
with acting.
when I was a kid,
Birds on the balcony.
I found that
Birds on the balcony.
extremely boring,
Hello,
right? As
birds.
kids do.
We need some food for the birds. We need to put some food from that's a balcony. There's a
Yes, we should
balcony over
remove the
there.
dead plants and put some food up. Yes.
No, I like the dead plants. Okay, though.
They do look a bit sombre.
Yeah, we should get bird feeders. Yeah.
Yeah. We should
Like-
hang the bird balls.
The
The seed. You know what I
Get
mean?
bird and hang its balls out there. on
The seed
balcony.
balls for birds that they peck on. Just like balls of seeds that you can hang from a string.
You know what would be funny?
Uh-huh.
If they had like a caricature of a man and they actually like had these seeds and the birds would come and peck on them.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be really funny for you.
I don't know. I mean, that was,
You probably come out to the
appeals to my
balcony
sense of
every
humour.
morning and just go, oh, look at that.
I'd be all right, mate. All right, mate.
Oh, man.
How's the old Angus sex? They okay? Peck. The kids would be like, look, they're almost all gone now.
You would suddenly feel that life is so good.
You would. You would. The birds might develop. See, they're looking for food. They're coming in the morning on the
Well,
balcony.
maybe
and
they're
then-
feeding. Maybe they've got some food on the balcony above us.
Yeah, maybe they've not. Maybe they've got a big trap on the balcony above to catch the birds and eat them.
Yeah, yes you do. It's the wrong block of flats.
Oh, was that one over there? Yeah. Did you really just say that?
Right.
You know,
Anyway.
I got a little story actually. We were at the pool the other day.
No.
I
Yes.
didn't tell you this.
Okay.
Yeah. When we were at the pool the other day, you know how these big new modern buildings have got all this stuff around about it to stop people climbing up it, as if people are going to climb up buildings. I mean, I don't get why.
What do you mean?
Oh, they got like they have this stuff like anti-climbing grease, and they have these little I don't know, like thin spikes and needles and stuff.
I thought those were against the birds, so the birds don't sit and shit, poop.
On, I thought they were against. I thought they were to stop people climbing. They're not to stop people climbing up. They're against birds. Is
I
that-
don't know. I know that some spikes, for example, in the historical town, some spikes on the buildings there are to stop pigeons to sit there and or swallows nesting and things like that.
Oh, okay. So they're to stop birds nesting.
Because
and
there's a
sitting-
lot of pigeons in town, obviously, so they have to
Oh.
stop them from sitting, so that they don't poop all
Oh,
over
okay.
the historical buildings.
Well, it's interesting because all those little spikes around the swimming pool. Yeah.
Okay, they
Yeah.
probably
And
might.
it's like I was sitting next to the
I
kids'
don't know.
pool and I was looking out the window.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, look, a bird. And I was like, oh, it's not moving. Oh, it's impaled on a spike.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. For impaling birds.
But then how do you
How do you get the birds off?
Yeah, somebody
I
has
don't
to
know.
go around and
You send
get
cats?
get. I don't. Maybe they got a long stick or something that
I don't know.
they use to.
Well, people kind of think that the birds are not going to be as stupid as to actually sit on a spike.
They're birds.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not exact. They're
Geniuses.
yeah. I mean, they're like food,
Spike?
eggs,
Food.
food.
Yeah.
Food.
What do you know about birds? Anyhow.
I don't know. I've observed them. They're outside. They've got wings. Most of them can fly.
Maybe we should get a bird.
We had birds. We had birds on our. We had non-flying birds on our little farm.
Then you killed them.
I did, and then we ate them.
And I plucked them. Yeah.
Yeah. That was an interesting experience.
Yes,
Right.
it was
Welcome to the real
very
world.
educational. Yes. Actually, when we came to parenting, I found it interesting. I found Will's attitude quite interesting when it came to killing animals.
Well, it was just like, oh, We kill them, we eat them. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite natural.
He was very okay with everything, and he dealt with everything in his own way, right? I with all my motherly instincts wanted to protect him from the experience of, from witnessing the death of animals.
What? It's reality.
'Cause
I mean, the
yes,
sooner they get
but-
exposed to reality, the more they understand
No,
it.
I don't think so. They're children. You have to protect them from some experiences, right? You don't go out there and tell them about wars and death and killing and bombs and raping and whatever.
You've been
else,
watching
right?
horrible histories with Will, right? And that's full of that stuff. It's not overtly full of that stuff, but it's running through the whole background of the whole story. Gladiators, warriors, Victorians, Romans,
Yes, that's
World
true.
War One, World War Two. It's there
true,
all the
but
time.
it's different. It's different to see it. It's different to see somebody making fun of history, and it's different to see death firsthand, right? If you saw somebody die in front of you, you would feel differently about it than watching.
Well,
one of
obviously,
the
I don't
histories,
want
right?
to expose Will to people dying in front of him.
There you go. Anyway, so kids are very sensitive to these things, and he usually went up there and he sang to those sheep, right? Because he liked them. So I wanted to protect him, but he wanted to go.
I forgot that he went and sang to the sheep.
Yeah, he did.
I forgot that. It's interesting what you forget.
And yeah, but he wanted to see it, right? So when he realized that sheep killing was happening, he was like, I have to go up the hill and see it. So he ran up the hill, and thankfully both sheep were dead by then, right?
Well, they were dead, but they were like lying on the
Yes.
ground, bleeding. And
Yes. And you took one of the sheep to take it downstairs, take it off the hill, down on the yard to skin it.
It's nothing heavier than a big dead sheep.
And he stayed up there, and he talked to the dead sheep, right? And he told me later on that he said goodbye to the dead sheep, and that he said to the dead sheep that to be happy in heaven and whatever else, and he basically just kind of came to terms with what just happened. Yeah, he almost cried. He told me that he almost cried, and he sang to the sheep and whatever. And then he just came downstairs and watched how you skin the other sheep, and really enjoyed that, actually. He was like, oh, wow, what's going on? And he's like, wow, that's the skeleton, whatever. I remember him coming to me saying, I wanted to see the skeleton. Where's the skeleton? So he took it all very, he did the spiritual thing first. And then when he got that out of his system and he dealt with the fact that the sheep are dead, he was all, scientific.
Yeah, he's all very. He's very connected emotionally to a lot of things.
Yes.
It's very interesting to observe his honest reactions to the world around about them.
Yes, absolutely. Zora's going to be a tougher nut.
A tougher nut. Well,
Tougher nut, because
let's hope that nut doesn't crack.
she's a bit more complex. Will is very straightforward. It's like whenever he feels or thinks, you can see that straight away. But Zora is a bit more complicated. She's going to, we're going to have to decipher her behavior to see what's going on.
She's very much her own person.
Well, everybody's very much their own person.
Yeah,
That's
but
kind of a wishy-washy thing to say. Not to be criticizing, I'm sorry. Just,
no, absolutely. That's okay. I'm just thinking that she, where Will needs to be with people, she tends not to feel the need to be with people.
That's what you mean. Okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. She's very much her own person in that sense. Yes.
I'm glad we agreed on that. Right.
Yeah, it's funny because still I have a feeling that she really needs to interact with other people as well at this age. And she really enjoys the interaction, but I feel that she's going to have slight problems she's going to have to practice practice social interaction, because Will is kind of all friendly and nice, right?
Always.
And his problem is that
He's too nice.
people might get the best of him, or he needs
We
to
have to give him the tools though
Yes, I know.
to recognize.
he needs to
those
work on his
problems.
assertiveness and stuff. A bit like me, right?
Yeah, well, they're.
And Zora is a bit like you. She does her own thing, and she doesn't adjust,
Okay.
right? So if people don't want to do what she wants them to do, she will tend to, be pissed off and go away or whatever.
She just goes and does her own thing,
Or
right?
screams or whatever, or just does her own thing. Listen, I have to...
You have to disappear for a minute.
Yes.
It's very
I'll be
unprofessional.
right back.
It's very unprofessional. Oh dear. Right. Once and again, I'm left to hold the fort, as they say, to try to to try to get people on board with what we're doing in terms of parenting. So, remember that if you want to connect with us, you can ask us any questions that you want. You can type into the chat on Facebook. You can type into the chat on YouTube. You can leave questions for us, and we will deal with them in the next session that we have. We are online daily, and we will happily communicate with people to so that we can learn more, not just inform you. But the great thing about the parenting journey is that nobody knows everything. Everybody's got something that they can offer. Everybody's got some experience that they can give, that they can share, either from their own experiences growing up or from their experiences as a parent. And they're so random, those parental experiences, that you can't really prepare for what's coming. You can prepare for some things. There's a few things you can be certain of, but most of the interactions with your children are going to involve some level of uncertainty. And so what we're trying to do is prepare you for those uncertain elements so that you're ready for them when they happen. Welcome back to the world.
Hi.
Welcome back to the world. So I was thinking about which direction we're going to take the conversation this morning, and we're looking at
away from death.
I don't know. Death is.
And social inequality.
We covered the Steve Jobs
religion.
quote before. Death is the single most important invention of life, right?
Right.
So that's what motivates people to get things done. The fact that time is limited. Why do people want to stay healthier, so that they can live a higher quality of life and live a little bit longer as well? So, except those people who do all those risk sports and those dangerous activities with bungee jumping and stuff. Are you flexing your muscles on the camera?
I'm like an illustration of health.
An illustration of health.
Yes.
Right. Because of your illustrious experience.
I have really sore throat today.
Yes?
Yes.
Why? I'm being the kids. Why?
Why don't you ask my throat?
Why?
Why don't you ask the germs in my throat what are making it sore?
Yeah, are you catching what the kids had?
I don't know. I hope not, because I have translation to deliver by tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to stay sane
Stay
the next
sane.
24 hours.
Okay. Stories from the news recently. Okay, we're going to go to catch up what's in the news in terms of education and
families. What is in the news? Because I am so
I'm not following the news because I think that's all misdirection basically. So I think that people are just given their topics. Was it Karl Rove was George Bush's like a media advisor. Well, that wasn't his title, but that's the role he performed, and more media manipulator. And what he said was that we create reality, so that you then study the reality that we create. Meanwhile, we are creating the new reality. And he said the media is always one step ahead of the public, so the public never have a chance. That's how they
Yeah.
got away with things in the past.
Yeah.
So perspectives on
Bread and
news.
games. It's the new bread and games, isn't it?
Bread and game. Well, it would be media and chocolate, maybe.
Yeah. Media and alcohol.
Oh, yeah. There are direct correlations between alcohol consumption and the downfall of society. So, I mean, back to the history of Rome.
It's like a big reality show. News on telly is like a big reality show.
Well, there's another perspective. It's to make people feel helpless a lot of the time, because it's all about people you don't know in places that you can't go to. It's all about
through something negative.
The things you can't affect, right? Things you can't affect. Also, the celebration of pointlessness, and by that I mean sport. Like, oh, this evening these two teams are playing, and this is why you should be excited about this. And they have interviews with the people who are kicking the balls or throwing the sticks or whatever.
You're not talking about bird balls.
I'm not pecking. I would be pecking. Pecking. All right. So.
Yeah, I when I used to do the radio news, right?
You've got a great voice for radio news. I was really surprised when I heard you doing the radio news before, because I thought that you didn't have a great voice, which shows you how little I know about these things. Yeah.
Anyway, when I used to do the radio news, I did like
it annoys me that my voice is like a frog that's been sat on by an alligator, and your voice is all kind of I'm a little bird on the balcony. Da-da.
Pecking on the balls.
Picking on the balls.
Yes, that's me.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so when I did the news for the radio, the work included me looking through foreign articles, right? Because it was like foreign news kind of thing. And one of the news portals or news websites had a little section called Positive News, and I really liked that, because usually, everything is just negative. What happened where, who crashed, who died, blah 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 blah.
It is.
And one of these, it was probably some rubbish news portal like Daily Mail or whatever. But
Positive News.
It had a section which said Positive News.
Why don't they have Positive TV? Why don't the Positive TV network that would just share useful and educational information? The amount of that is pumped out across the broadcast channels. It's very much encapsulated by that Bruce Springsteen song, 57 channels and nothing on.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should create a live video news broadcasting with positive news from the world.
Welcome to practical. Well, it is practical positive parenting, though, right? I mean, we've got that.
We've got practical positive parenting, but we could do an extension, right? We could do like a positive news.
you could. You've got the voice for that. You could do the positive news stuff.
Yes.
That would work really well.
Maybe we could have like 5 minutes after every practical parenting session. Positive news from the world. You would have to do a theme song for me.
Oh, you're talking about like stupid death.
That doesn't sound very positive.
Yeah, but
something like that, yes.
Positive news. No, that doesn't really work. You'd have to have.
That would be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure that. Well, you'd have to do a lot of research to find the positive stories.
Because there's a lot of positiveness out there, but it's usually connected to religion, right? I mean, if you find some kind of religious channel, it's probably going to be quite positive. But
the positivenewsnetwork.com. We built 3 new churches on hills that are miles away from anywhere.
Anyway, yes, that would be an interesting project. Completely unrelated to anything else that we do. But
the thing is, a lot of positive things happen. They just don't get picked up.
They just don't make it to the news because you know what's the usual, right? The fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sex, and something else. What was it?
Violence.
Violence. I think that's within the
sport.
field. So they have to sell through food. Was it food? I don't know. They have to sell through those. So that's like, it's all about fear. It's all about what horrible things are happening. And then they, at the end of Slovak news, they usually do like a little cat video or something.
I've typed in positive
to
news.
Find on a positive
I've typed in
note.
positive news to Google just for a little live search here. We've got the Good News Network, which I imagine is a religious network.
Sounds like it.
We've got sunnyskies.com, which is kind of a nice title. We've got.
You want to make sure that these things are not, sects or whatever. Because it could sound, well,
it's obvious,
if I saw
isn't
something
it?
like
I mean,
Sunny
they're always
Skies,
pointing
I would
in
think, oh my gosh, are those like the Moonists or the Mormons, or are they? Right?
I don't know, rosy spectacled people. Well, there's a website, www.positive.news. I've never visited this site before, but you've got Sober Ravers Mark Ancient Autumn Celebration. We've got more people are successfully quitting smoking than... I've got a magazine as well.
Oh, that's cool.
We've got Canada introduces gender neutral passports. This is obviously government sponsored.
Why we need to start listening to insects. That's a good one.
Yeah, but it's going to take time to listen to insects. I mean, that's a bit insane, right? Okay, fair trading now becomes ethical trading, because fair trading is not fair anymore. That's not really a positive.
Very positive, is it?
Well, that's not positive. The gender neutral passports, celebrating the fact that people are confused and don't know if they're male or female is not really a great step forward for society. What next? You're going to have adults wearing nappies. Oh, wait a minute. It's actually quite popular in some countries. Right.
Is it?
Yeah. If you don't believe me, we're not going to do it here, but you can Google search adult nappies outsell baby nappies in some countries.
That's just sad.
Yeah, not very positive either.
It's not very positive at all. Somebody should teach those people to exercise their...
Well, the point is that people
floor.
in some companies... In some countries were working so hard that they didn't have time to visit the bathroom.
Okay.
That's kind of crazy.
That's kind of freaky.
3 ways to connect with nature. I don't like those articles. 3 ways to do this, 5 ways to do this, 7 ways to do that.
I know, they're a bit annoying, aren't they?
Oh, the thing is, it's clickbait.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So it's clickbait, and we're on the edge of thermonuclear warfare, or I don't know. I can't think right now of all the titles they come up with, but I just don't click on anything anymore.
I like the negative ones. I like the ones that are like super negative, but then you find out they're positive, like why I'm such a horrible parent, right? And then you click on it, and you expect that, oh my gosh, this person probably beats up their kids or something.
Why would you click on the negative? I mean, is there something where people click on more negative titles?
And then it's something like,
oh,
they tell me that I'm a horrible parent, but I'm actually really cool, right? For example, it's just a stupid example, but you know what I mean. There are actually categories of clickbaits. Mainly appearing on interest, and you've got statistics like
interest.
Yes.
Okay.
And you've got statistics like which clickbaits get the most clicks, right? You get statistics on how long your Pinterest picture should be, because what length of Pinterest pictures get the most clicks and stuff like that.
That stuff. But when you should post your social media during the day.
Yes.
Always post it between these hours, because more people will see it.
Post between 2 and 3 a picture that is 6 inches long and has these trigger words in it, right? It's like,
Yeah, the crazy thing is that let's put ourselves in a slightly higher category, okay? Because not that many people are actually prepared to make a broadcast about parenting, to do it regularly, and to open themselves up to criticism as we do, and
Nobody's criticizing us.
to put us on the spot. Oh, they will.
Apart from your mom.
They will.
Uh-huh.
They will. It will come. Right. There'll be, there'll be more criticism than anything else.
Oh,
right?
I hope so.
I mean,
okay.
that's the level of success.
Well, that's
right?
a good thing, right? Because it moves you. If it's a constructive criticism, it moves you forward. If it's a stupid criticism, like, oh my God, do something with that stupid hat on your head or something, then it's just you just
Why is he
kind of
wearing his hat
shake it
backwards?
off, shake it off.
Yeah. I mean, I just it's you have to laugh at those idiots, right? Because people who think they're doing something intelligent when it's actually the opposite, and intelligent people know that it's the opposite. It's like, thank you very much for that. I know who to keep away from now. So
Anyway, it's not happening. It's not happening right now.
Idiot.
People just ignore us, but that's okay.
That's okay. Well, I forgot what was the original point I was making about the posts and things.
Yes, that you said let's put ourselves to a higher something.
Yeah, because I think we're intelligent enough to understand what clickbait is, right?
Yes.
And not, but the average person is still a bit confused about that, right?
The average person is the consumer.
They don't
right?
look like I've set up this technology. I'm not a technician, right? So any technician could set up this technology, but most people don't. Most people would rather spend their Sunday morning fishing, or some will spend it in prayer. That's a pretty positive direction to go in. Others will spend it riding bicycles. Some will spend it drilling holes in the wall. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a drill to come out.
It's you know what's a good thing? That I was the
chocolate.
I was the average person. I still am not extremely outstanding, but anyway, who is
extremely outstanding?
When it comes to the consumerism, no. When it comes to the consumption of internet goods, right? Before I started to create my own content, obviously I was on the other side. I was on the receiving side. So I know what works and what doesn't work, because I'm your average, easily entertained woman, right, mother. So I know what works and what doesn't work, and what a clickbait is, because I have clicked on so many of them, right?
You've been baited so many times.
I've been baited so many times, and I can use that. I can use my baitability to just.
It's a great word.
To go with it, to work with it, to present, because you have something valuable that you want to give to people, right? But what's the point in having something valuable if people are not going to click? So on one hand, the clickbaits are a good thing if you're actually giving out something valuable. There is so much empty content, oxymoron thing. But we talked about this before. There is so much empty content on the internet where some of the links on Pinterest don't even work, right? You click on something and it tells you that it's going to give you the best recipe for a banana chocolate cake, right?
Right.
And the picture looks great, and you click on it and it takes you somewhere completely different, right?
It takes you to
Homeschooling 101, and you're like, I don't want to know anything about that. I want that bloody chocolate cake, right?
Does that happen?
Yes.
I haven't noticed that.
It happens. Sometimes the links are just confused.
It's just to get you to go somewhere. It's just for traffic, basically. Well, there's all that. So I'm subscribed to Ryan Lee's Freedom Information, right? And so they're all about setting up recurring revenue streams. And so they have daily sessions on how to increase your traffic and how to create Facebook advertisements, and what size of buttons to put in what places on your channel.
It's all science now,
and
it's all crazy science.
And I'm wondering, where's the content, right? Surely if you're
everybody expects that you already have that.
Well, it's not that simple. We're losing we're losing.
Things are crazy. Things are crazy
Let me
because
just turn off this light in the background here
I clicked
things are going
on
on.
those
It's gonna go dark.
free sessions
Oh,
or
no, we're not.
free
We're okay.
presentations, blah blah blah. I clicked on a free presentation of this woman who was like, "Oh, I'm going to teach you how to get yourself out there, how to get so many followers, blah blah blah, in your email list." And she's basically saying, "You don't need to have anything. You don't need to know anything. You don't need to have any content. All you need to do is you need to connect to 5 people who know what they're doing, connect them between themselves, create a summit, and you get all the followers that they have." And then you can start selling whatever you want to sell.
It was how to create.
I was like, so you can do this all without even being anybody, and you will suddenly be considered a expert in your field. And I'm like, that's just wrong.
But the recurring revenue principle, where it's how to create recurring revenue without creating any content. And it's
horrible. It's bad. It's bad. It's like that empty content that's supposed to.
48,000 euro in 17 days or something like that. These kind of posts that people put on.
Ugh. I don't like it. I don't like bad quality stuff. They tell you, "Oh, I will give you a free organizer if you subscribe." I subscribe and I get this like 2 shitty PDFs, right? And I'm like, huh? So you unsubscribe, but you keep getting things from people that you unsubscribed from, and then you're like, "I want to kill my computer because I can't unsubscribe from this because I've already unsubscribed like 3 times, and I'm still getting stuff," right?
I've got that with Christian stuff. It's really frustrated me.
Oh, it's really
Christian websites that are like, "Click here if you want to unsubscribe," and I unsubscribe because it's all Christian homeschool stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, and I click to unsubscribe, and they continue to send me information. I mean that.
I subscribed to some Hillary character because she was giving a lecture on
Hillary Clinton.
No, she was giving a lecture on how to do stuff on Instagram, right? And I was like, "Ooh, I'm quite interested in that." But then it was a timed webinar, and I never and without a replay, right? And I wasn't there at that time.
Replay.
Yeah, I know, that's stupid. And they're like, "Okay, she was giving times for the webinar like every 3 days or something," but I don't want to, watch my watch and go like, "Oh, 3 o'clock now I can go and watch it." I don't have time for that. I can't time my children, right? So there was no replay, so I didn't even watch it in the end, right? So I got absolutely nothing from it, and I've subscribed like 3 times, and I'm still getting emails every single day. It's crazy.
Block it as spam.
Oh, good. I'll do that.
That's what you do. You block it as spam, and you never get any more emails from that address.
Good. This is one of those crazy people who send you an email every day. Sorry, I'm just making fun of you.
I do that Monday to Friday.
It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing if you offer value, and your emails are interesting. They are interesting read, and you offer a lot of information in it. I always wonder, I look at it and I'm thinking, "Oh my God, he knows all this," or "How long did the research take?" Yeah,
where does that stuff come from?
I'm like,
basically.
"Oh, wait, does he know this, or
I know it's
copy and paste it?"
No, that stuff is sitting in the grey matter of my mind, and don't ask me how it got there.
That's crazy. He knows so much stuff.
There was an Eric Thomas podcast that I was listening to, and he was talking about there's 3 people in the kind of company management team. There's Eric Thomas, there's a guy called CJ, and there's a guy called
something else.
Somebody doesn't know. He's really cool. Can't remember his name. Anyway, and they were talking about how they travel together, and for different conferences and different events and different summits, and how they spend a lot of time together in the company. And they'll go to an event, and they will all have had the same experiences for the week. But Eric Thomas will be able to talk about all the things that happened that the others didn't notice. So everybody's in the same space, sharing the same experience, but they're all having different experiences.
Yes.
Yeah, and some people are just able to absorb or notice more in different kinds of environments. Some people are just more observant, and Eric Thomas is a classic example of that. He's able to get on stage and he'd talk about like they'll all watch a film together, and Eric Thomas will get all these different messages out of the film, and the other guys would be like, wow, I never thought of it like that before. So we're all having the same experience. Does it make sense?
Yes.
We're all having the same experience, but we're all having
Yes.
different experiences.
Yes, it makes complete. It's like the two of us, right? You always observe so much more than me because I kind of I'm looking through a toilet roll, right?
It's a good way to describe it.
But on the other hand, sometimes I make connections that you don't make, right? So it's like we too experience the reality through a different toilet roll.
I kind of more have the fireworks mindset, which is that there's always sparks of different ideas coming from everything, and it's hard to understand that some people do have this sort of telescopic vision, right? Where they're seeing one thing in high focus, whereas I'm not. Like I just realized that my email plan for what I want to do with my businesses is just so incredibly insane and complex that the complexity kind of destroys the business plan principle of it, because it just becomes too complex. So
yeah, I'm a linear thinker. I have a problem sometimes connecting the dots. So I need everything to be very simple and straightforward. And I mean, I can deal with, I can do the multitasking thing if I have like, okay, one process is here, this is one thing, this is the other thing, this is the third thing. I can observe all those three things at the same time, but they all have to be simple and linear, right? I can't branch out and connect and do the whole.
You know what's really interesting about that was in my Daily Mail, I sent out, I think on Friday we didn't have much time, so it was a shorter mail. But and I sent out the links to Stefan Molyneux remixes, which are really, it's really deep.
Mike ran out of coffee.
I've got black coffee if you want over here. But
no, thank you.
No,
I don't do
right.
black. Sorry, it just came out the wrong way.
She said again. Right. Something wrong with my mouth. These words just keep falling out.
It is really, yeah. It's just.
What was I saying?
Oh God, we're gonna get banned.
What? Banned? Banned? Good. I hope a band comes. Right.
I just said something that could be interpreted in the wrong way.
You're right.
If Donald Trump said something like that, he'd be stoned.
He says that all the time.
He'd be stoned.
He's great. He just. You have to love a man who says what he thinks. I mean, it's much better than all that. Oh, say one thing in front of people, say another thing behind closed doors.
It is. It also puts him on in the.
Makes him a target.
That's what I meant.
Paints a target on his chest.
Yeah.
But then.
But you can't. Well, the thing is that
you'd be all nicey like Barack
to be
Obama, and then behind the scenes be doing things like releasing hundreds of thousands of criminals from prison at the same time. I mean, that's
you have to be. Yes, I mean it's a good idea to be honest with your people, but you have to be kind of diplomatic.
It's morally the right thing to. Don't sneeze on the. No, bless you. No, hold your nose. Breathe.
It's gone.
Count to 10.
It's gone.
Pretend you're.
Me.
You, right? Okay.
You have to be diplomatic to a certain extent, right? You can't just go and meet with the president of Venezuela and say, "I don't like you. You're an idiot," right? I mean, obviously, you have to have a certain
Donald Trump wrote.
diplomacy.
This is not a political podcast, okay? But look, Donald Trump wrote The Art of the Deal. That's one of the top 20 business books of the 20th century, right? In terms of negotiation and management.
Did you read it?
No, I didn't.
Can I get it for you for Christmas?
I've got a list of books that you can get for me for Christmas. I don't want just one.
Good.
I want many. I want more.
Well, first we're gonna have to sell this webinar.
Who moved the cheese?
Yes.
I want that one.
Who moved the cheese? I can tell you who moved the cheese.
Zora.
I can just tell you it was Zora.
The kids moved
Zora
the
moved it and Jasmine ate it.
Or it's called Who Moved the Cheese, or Where's My Cheese, or Somebody Ate the Cheese, or Cheese Please, or something.
Who ate the pizza?
Something like that. Who moved?
Who ate all the cookies?
Chicken Soup for the Soul. I want that as well.
Yeah.
I haven't read that. It's not a cookbook. Okay?
It's not exactly. You know, I wouldn't think that it was your type of book.
Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yeah.
Well, it is advertised as a great book for business people. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see.
Do you know Chicken Soup for the Soul was rejected by 200 publishers?
Really?
200.
I read it when I was like.
200 publishers rejected that book.
I read it when I was like 17 or something like that, and obviously I never looked at it from the point of view of a business person. So maybe if I read it again, I will find different information in it.
Well, just like two people watch the same film, they get different messages from it. Two people read the same book.
One person watches the same film when they're 17 and when they're 37, and they get different messages from it, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
They have different experience.
It's like that Scottish film, Local Hero. Right.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I sat with my parents and watched it and thought, this is one of the most boring things I have ever seen in my life. And now I really enjoy it because of the nuances in it. You understand the characters. It's very much like a long episode of Hamish Macbeth. Actually, guy stuck in a little Scottish village and trying to communicate with the locals and trying to understand their culture.
Which one is that? Have you seen it?
Local Hero.
Is it about that guy who came to?
Yeah, it's about the oil man who comes to the little Scottish village, and he's like, we're gonna turn this into like an oil town, and the locals are like, no, conservation and environment and stuff, and they try to find a way to balance out those ideas.
It was a good film.
It is. It's nice.
You should watch it again. Now we're finished with Hamish.
Well, it's going to be. We're going to have the Robert Carlyle series now. I've looked back at his history and I checked online to see what's available.
He's got a really weird shape of a nose. Have you noticed? It's got that. It's got a little hump, and then it's like it's been squished by something.
You mean he's Scottish?
That's true. That's true. Scottish people have funny noses.
Scottish people have funny
people
noses and bad teeth.
Brows. Scottish people's eyebrows.
Eyebrows, not brows as in the internet. Okay.
Scottish people have this particular shape of eyebrows and nose that you can just tell that they're Scottish.
Well, also the accent gives it away, and maybe the kilt as well.
Yes, but really, I had a teacher. He was a very interesting teacher at a university. I had a teacher who taught. It's something with French. Doesn't matter.
French.
What was interesting was that anytime that somebody came up to him to talk to him, like, oh, I don't have my homework or whatever, he would look at them and he would go, you're from Košice, aren't you? Or, he was like, you're from the eastern Slovakia. And they'd be like, yes. And he says, And then he was like, I study faces. He said, I study facial features. And you can tell where people come from by facial features, right? He was like, I can tell where your ancestors come from when it comes to the regions of Slovakia.
Okay.
Just by looking at your face.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. It's quite often he was right. Sometimes he was wrong, obviously, because people kind of intermingle and pass on the, But you can tell. I could tell when I was in Scotland picking strawberries.
As you do.
And we would jump on a bus and go to town.
It's quite a long way to go to get strawberries.
I know. and we would jump on the bus and go to town. And when I looked around on the bus, I could pinpoint the Czech or Slovak people that were sitting on the bus. I knew exactly who was not a local.
All right.
Right? Wow. And not just because they weren't 70 years old, right? But you could just see that. The different face, different hair, everything. Just different body posture even. Like you go down the center of the town and you can tell who's a tourist by the way they walk, I see somebody walking in a different way, and I'm thinking, he's not from around here. Not just because he's dressed differently or something, but it's just the whole body posture and body language is different. It's funny.
Yeah, and that's part of the way that we present ourselves.
Yeah.
You notice that people who live healthier lifestyles tend to have a better body posture and position. The people who do the stretching and the yoga and the people who visit the gym, they carry themselves in a different way. They're much more confident.
Have you noticed that it's also not inherited, but you pick it up from your parents?
Inherited? Oh no,
it's not.
habituated.
Yes, I don't know. You just pick it up from your family. Like I've noticed that me and my sister and my brother used to have the same posture, kind of slumped shoulders and a little like not very confident type of.
Here's a little parenting thing, right?
Mhm.
You notice Will when he's using his tablet, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
The body position. Now, if you think if you spend an hour a day,
Like
half
that.
an hour a day, it's really negative for the body posture. So I'm always trying to get him to sit back, keep a bit of distance between himself and the tablet. And at that developmental age, it's really important to have the right, correct body posture. You know what I'd even have him doing? I'd have him hanging a couple of times a day from the chin-up bar that we've got. Just get him grabbing on the bar and just holding on for as long as he can, and then coming down, just to get that
Alignment,
body, give the alignment.
Mhm.
Okay, just to get the body posture.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that just little things like that can make really big.
Well, that's how you
differences.
can tell the computer geeks lots of times, right? Because their body posture has been changed by the hours of sitting by the
Well,
computer.
the neck is elongated forward.
Yes, exactly. The slumped shoulders.
The shoulders are crushed together.
Oh gosh, and it's that's all signs of weak core muscles as well.
Oh yeah, and they're not
You've
working the core muscles in the stomach as well. So I mean,
you've got strong core muscles. You will naturally sit up more straight, because if you don't have strong core muscles, then it's exhausting to sit up.
strong core muscles.
He's got them. I don't have them yet, but I'm working on it slowly.
So,
Really slowly.
as you do.
But it's I can tell. I mean, I'm much better sitting up straight now than I was half a year ago, because it's exhausting to sit up straight when you don't have any core muscles, right?
Using a
There's
standing
nothing
desk.
to hold you up.
The standing desk.
Yeah.
The standing desk is so difficult for people because they don't have those core muscles, and you can.
But even when you have a standing desk, even when you're standing, you still don't have to use your core muscles. You have to have the right posture to be using your core muscles while standing. My wrong position, my position that I used to stand in that was wrong, right? Was I wouldn't employ the core muscles or the belly muscles at all while standing, right? I would have my pelvis kind of forward, and then you have the rest of the back backwards.
It's good.
And then you
it's good if
slap
you're
your
watching this on
shoulders,
video.
right? To kind of to balance it out, right? So you don't have to use this at all. You don't have to use the belly at all. You just kind of balance it out by slapping forward and pushing the pelvis forward, and it hurts your back and it pushes the neck forward, and it's just kind of walk like a Neanderthal basically.
Well,
it's not a good thing.
well, if you can,
Because
well, look, I was thinking about what's the simplest thing I can do to improve general health, right? And I was thinking, okay, I can sit at a computer, 6 hours a day, whatever, or I can stand. And standing is active for the body muscles. So there's something you can do where you don't really have to change much.
Yes, but I said you have to stand actively, just to be active standing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I have a problem there because I have a day of business meetings, and I'm expected to sit in the business meetings.
And you can't,
And it's
because
it's
you need to fidget or something.
well, it's not that I need to fidget. It's just that it's really uncomfortable because the muscles want to be active.
The
muscles want to be active.
I didn't
but
get
they're-
that far yet. I don't like my standing desk, but I suppose you're not supposed to like it at the beginning, right?
Well,
I don't.
it takes
I
time,
find it
takes
really
time.
hard to concentrate. So when I work on a translation, I'd rather sit back because I like to concentrate on the translation rather than on the fact that I'm trying to stand.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
but I
well,
guess
it
I guess
comes.
takes time.
It comes over time. Right. Other pieces of positive news. So yeah, maybe it's a good idea to focus on the positive news ideas. We've got here the Joy of a Fix festival for repair lovers, people who like to repair things. That's pretty neat. 5 reasons why you should explore the world by bicycle. I don't know who's got the money and time to do that, to be very honest. And then they've got all the popular stories over the last 12 months.
The gangster gardener who believes masculinity is about being a conscious citizen of the planet.
Yeah, there's all this redefining of masculinity right now, which is question mark. So, and they've also got positive stories from the last 24 hours. So,
masculinity is about being.
Hey, check this out. Why editors pick? Why aren't organic carrots just called carrots? That's a great question.
That is a great question,
Okay.
because you should have.
Look at this
You should
website.
have
This is really nice.
fruit and vegetables,
Ah.
and then you should have toxic fruit and vegetables, right? You shouldn't have fruit and veg and organic fruit and veg. You should have fruit and veg and toxic fruit and veg. Just to because then you normalize the bad.
Why don't they just have like good shit and bad shit?
Exactly. I mean, you don't want to normalize the bad and then take the good and make it a luxury good, right?
Well,
You want to normalize the
people
good.
Don't want to do that. Right.
Normalize the good and then take the bad shit and just throw it in the dump where it belongs. The dump of bad shit. But then that would make the people who can't afford the organic feel bad about buying the bad shit, I guess. But then
the whole situation where you can't afford to eat healthily is,
I know, it's shitty.
is insane.
I've read an.
We live in an insane world run by insane people.
I went into that folder that you.
Don't lean on
I'm not
the
leaning.
tap.
I went into the folder that you collected about the health information, right? That's in the drawer, sitting in the drawer down there in the desk.
Is it?
And
Did you
yes,
take it away? I didn't know where it was.
It's there.
Why is this thing there? Why is it not
Because
on
you
the
gave
shelf?
it to me.
Oh, I gave it to you saying,
Yes.
take this because
It's got good information.
it's
in
got
it.
good information and
Yes.
I'm not doing anything with it.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. So it's
So-
it's down there right now.
Can we put it somewhere visible so that I remember that it's there? Like, can we put it maybe under
Yeah,
one
sure.
of those
Yeah, okay.
those speakers over there or
Yes.
something? So, that,
So I went into it and there was
because
this. You
it's
put
good
this.
stuff in it, right?
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. You put this article in it about
Every family should have a health folder.
which fruit and vegetables is okay to buy not organic and which you should buy organic. Basically telling you
Did I
which
put that in there? Oh,
which fruit and veg is the most pesticized
okay.
and retains the highest levels of pesticides within it, right? So I don't remember it. I have to look at it again.
Okay.
But I thought it was an interesting information. They were basically saying, like, if you're not buying these organic, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to kill you. But buy these organic because they're usually really bad if they're not organic.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be really careful. I mean, you could have this perspective, like, I'm just going to go around the supermarket and buy the most expensive stuff. But even if you have the money to do that, even that is no guarantee that what you're buying is good quality. So there's
Oh
still
God, the prices of food went through the roof in Slovakia. Seriously.
things confuse me, right?
I mean,
the
you
price
pay-
of butter
You pay
confuses me.
exactly.
That's
You pay
ridiculously
3
expensive.
euros for a stick of butter. 3 euros. It's crazy. It's a 90. If you count it back to the Slovak crowns that we used before, that you before it would cost like 15 maybe, and now it's like 90. Right?
Yeah, there's
It's crazy.
there are interesting economic games happening with food.
And we eat
it's not
lots of
logical.
butter. I use lots of butter.
Butter is essentially a good thing, I think. So
Yes, it's
there
got
we go.
vitamin K in it. Okay.
Vitamin OK, that's cool.
Vitamin
That's super
K
cool.
is good for your bones.
Right. I think it's time for us to conclude our morning conversation. You know what?
We didn't do anything overtly parenting-ish.
I think we brought in lots of parenting things. I think that the intelligent people out there will be able to pick up on those things because we didn't highlight it, we didn't underline it, but we brought it into the
Oh, that's
conversation.
why I used the word overtly, right?
Exactly. I'm just I'm reinforcing what you said
Okay.
in a different way. Now, I've noticed that just little technical things have been going on here. Like the microphone has stayed up kind of
Yes.
today, and
Yes.
I've
And
been
if you move your
running-
head down,
it goes up.
it goes up. Exactly. Yeah.
How cool
It
is
does
that?
pull on your back a little bit, but you can bring it up just by doing this.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Right. I think we covered a lot of health issues today, which
I think we should go and exercise
really
now a
important.
little bit. I didn't have my exercise today yet.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Okay, so if you're interested in getting in touch with us and communicating about parenting, if you're interested in advising us about what we should do, where we should go, what we should look at, what we should present, then you can leave a comment in the Facebook comments. You can leave a comment in the YouTube comments. You can get in touch with us online. Websites www.nsa-slovakia.com. This is www.21centurymum,
MUM.com.
.com.
Don't forget the .com.
You can register for our newsletter, which right now you'll find a copy of on my Facebook page. You can also contact the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching on YouTube or Facebook. There's a Pinterest page. There's lots of other stuff going on.
And we're preparing a super duper parenting webinar for you people, and we would like to put out the information about it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay, I've just emphasized it to him so that he knows what the time schedule for that is, because there is nothing seems to be happening right now. So we have to make things happen tomorrow.
Well, just because nothing seems to be happening does not mean that nothing is happening.
Yes.
There we
So,
go. Right. Okay, that will be done.
yes. Yes.
Right. We say bye on a different stream. So we're going to say goodbye to Facebook and the podcast people. Thank you very much for paying
Bye.
attention.
Thank you for watching us.
Respect to you guys. Can't find my mouse now. There we go. Okay, respect
Have
to
a
you
lovely
guys.
day.
Bye bye guys. There we go. Finishing there.